video is for students who have completed the CELPIP self-paced course, but you can also watch it if you haven't used that course yet. This is a CELPIP checklist, which we're going to get to. I'm going to share my screen. These are all the things you need to do if you have time before your exam. Now, if you have 2 days before your exam, you cannot do all these things. But I'm considering you have a week or two, or ideally even a month. So if you have more time, these are the things you want to achieve before you do your exam. Once you do these things, you can ensure that you're going to get a high mark. It's guaranteed, and you'll see why. This is the official CELPIP checklist that is sent to students before they do their exam and after they have taken this course with us. Now, in this course, there's lots of things that I'm going to show you, but also, as I said, you can use this checklist even if you have not taken the course. It will not be as effective, but you will at least know what things you have to do before your exam. In the course that is provided, you have 800 words for CELPIP. All right. I say for CELPIP because you can specifically use them in a lot of CELPIP situations, writing, speaking. You can also use them for your reading and listening. So learn at least 200 new words. Now you should learn 800, but I know people don't have much time. So target 200. You can do it in 10 days. You want to set a target of 20 words per day. Just do that for 10 days. There you go. At least 200 words will set you up nicely for the vocabulary part in your exam. Learn 50 phrasal verbs. Now you have 200 of those, but you should learn at least 50. They're very handy when you're using informal language, like informal letters or emails, or conversations in the speaking part, where you have to use words like phase out, given, run into, things of day-to-day conversation nature. So use at least 50 of those. Again, doing 5 per day could get you to 50 within 10 days. Learn 5 complex sentence uses. We discussed in our lectures and also in our YouTube videos that complex sentences are sentences that start with due to, considering, concerning, things that can link two parts of different sentences into one sentence, making it complex. So if you learn at least 5 of them, 5 words, pick yours. I could say, for example, while, although, considering, due to, based on. Okay, so that's 5 for me. And if you just learn 5, they're more than enough, because in one writing task you can learn, and I have that here, which we're going to look at later, you can do 2 per writing task, and you can do 1 per speaking task. But you don't want to use the same ones, and that's why I recommend at least 5 so you can keep a variety with all those questions. Learn at least 8 connectors. You need to use more connectors because in writing and in speaking, there are more sentences you would make, and that would need more connectors. You can overdo connectors, but you should never overdo complex sentences. It'll be obvious that you're trying too hard. Okay, so learn at least 8 connectors. They're also provided in the vocabulary lesson of the first module, of the first 1 hour, I would say, of the CELPIP 15-hour course. Once again, guys, if you haven't seen this course that I'm talking about, the link is in the description. You can check it out if you haven't purchased it yet. Now, you also want to send 1 writing test and 1 speaking test. You can use speaking recorders to record your 8 parts of speaking and send that to info@hzadeducation.com. This is a free service that we're providing for now as of this video. It's no longer going to be free forever, but if you have purchased this course, you're eligible to send me 1 test. We're going to review it, tell you what you're going to score, and if you're ready for the exam. So that is your opportunity for free feedback. Don't waste it. Brainstorming practice, we have discussed this in the 15-hour course. Here you want to pick as many questions as you can for writing and speaking. You don't have to write or speak for those questions. Just look at the question, sit still, and brainstorm. What are 5 points I can do on one side? What are 5 points I can do on the other side? Just think, and you don't use 5 points, right? You use 2 to 3 points. But this will just train your brain to think of multiple situations. So when the exam time comes, you're not thinking in the exam and wasting time. Ideas and thoughts will come to you quick. So you want to practice brainstorming as much as possible. Practice 5 writing tests, and they are in the mock test that you are given. You are given 5 mock tests in this course. Use a timer in each test. Okay, so make sure you're timing yourself for the writing length. Same thing for speaking. Time yourself. Do the 5 speaking practice tests. But here's where it's important to review them by yourself. If you're not taking one of our tutors, you should be able to review your writing tasks with this criteria. Use Grammarly. That's the app. If you haven't heard of it, it checks your grammar for free. Download that, and when you write your task, put it on Grammarly and see your mistakes. Use the word counter, obviously. Make sure you're under the word limit, and use of templates that are taught to you for writing. Make sure you're using them, especially in the intro and conclusion. Time check. Make sure you're finishing it on time. Use at least 2 complex sentences, and this is per question. So task 1, 2 complex sentences. Task 2, 2 complex sentences at least. At least 3 connectors in task 1 and 3 connectors in task 2. And an overview of advanced vocabulary used. So I obviously didn't say a number here. It's just whatever words you're writing, make sure you're using advanced words. So when you review your writing, make sure you're checking, did I use a better word or did I use a very common word? For example, if you're using a word like good, that is basic, right? And you need to make sure it could be something advanced. For example, terrific, magnificent. Or something like bad, you should say detrimental instead of just saying bad. So small words or basic words or common words should be replaced with advanced words. And when you are going through your writings, you want to check all the vocabulary you have used and see if it could have been better. You could also use thesaurus.com for this. You can also compare them, your writings that you're doing at the moment, with previous writings. How much have you improved? And once again, by learning new words that I mentioned as my first point, you will be able to do exactly that. Does it answer the question? You want to check task response by yourself. A lot of times students keep writing and they look at the question again and they realize they forgot what the question is. So as you write, it's very common to drift away. Make sure you read the question again and check your writing. Did you really answer the question? So use all this criteria to evaluate your writing tasks and make sure you're your own teacher. You might make mistakes in looking at yourself or tutoring yourself, which is why I recommend the expert help that we provide. But if you want to do it on your own, these are the things you use to evaluate your writing. Now let's get to the most difficult module, which is the CELPIP speaking part. Now here, how you evaluate yourself is you want to use a sound recorder. Every time you answer questions, record yourself and play that recording. Now, when you play your recording, you want to check the time at the start and the finish. At the start, you want to start right away. We don't waste time. We start right away. When you finish, you want to make sure you leave about 5 seconds at the end, and this is room where you will not lose marks if you leave 5 seconds. 10 seconds may be a stretch. But we say 5 seconds because you will try doing that. You will still use some of those seconds and you will eventually end up using, you would have, let's say, a margin of 2 to 3 seconds. So you wouldn't really be able to even leave 5 seconds at the end, which is why I recommend targeting that. So you want to check time at the start and finish if you're finishing and starting on time correctly. Now, when you play your recording, use speech to text. This is a software you can use online on the web, or you can use an app for that as well. When you use this, look if the computer or the software is writing the exact text that you were saying in the recording. This will be your guideline as if to show you if you are speaking clearly. If the computer can transcribe everything you are saying as text, it means it heard you clearly. And maybe at some point that's what's going to happen. In the PTE test, the computer marks speaking, not a human being. In CELPIP, a human being still marks it, but eventually maybe AI will be doing it. So you want to make sure that your voice is clear and you can judge that if the speech to text transcribes everything that you are saying perfectly as text. If there are some words missing, it means you're not saying them clearly enough. Did you use enough pauses? Make sure to use pauses. A lot of people rush it and they do it for fluency, but it's really a complex thing. Make sure you have pauses between sentences and between points. Did you use emphasis or were you monotone? You want to make sure you use emphasis, talk as if you're talking to a friend, talking to a boss, whatever the situation given to you is, base your speaking tone on that. In that regard, there's also this one, which is quite similar. Does it follow the formal or informal tone? Depends on the question. If it is a formal question, of course, it needs to follow that tone and vice versa. So make sure you're looking at the tone and emphasis. It should look like a real conversation, not like you practiced for a test. Does it answer the question? Once again, make sure you have actually answered the speaking question. You want to play your recording and judge that. You need to make at least 2 points per question. Some people just make one long point for a 90-second question, so you need at least 2. Now in the templates, I have guided you exactly how many points you have to use per question, but this is just a general guideline. You have to use at least 2 minimum per question. Proper use of templates, of course, make sure you're using HZad Education's templates. Grammar and vocabulary, now you cannot put it in Grammarly because it's not written, but you want to use self-analysis. Judge yourself from your understanding if you have made grammar mistakes or vocabulary mistakes. But again, you might get errors on that because you're still a student, you're still learning. Best to contact us for help and we can give you a better analysis here. You want to use at least 2 connectors in each part of speaking, so per question, and at least 1 complex sentence. 1 only, because it's just short speaking, so you want to try at least using 1 per question. Now, you want to attempt 5 reading mock tests and 5 speaking mock tests. Again, they're all in our tests that have been provided to you as part of this course, and check the answers and see the wrong ones. Don't just say, okay, this is my score. Look at your answers. It's very important. I really think it's common sense, but still people don't do it. So I have to emphasize, check your answers. The ones that are wrong, study why they were wrong. Once you study them, you will know what you did wrong and how you can change it the next time. Okay, so that is super important. You want to check, and we are the only course providers for CELPIP that have explanations in the answer sheet. No other course does that. I've seen all the courses. This is the only course that actually explains the answers. So use that, please, and check why you got them wrong. Okay, so this will help you make your reading and listening better. Now, all of this can be done in 10 days, right? I've given you some guidelines on how to do that. It cannot be done in 2 days. If you have your exam, this week, it might be challenging. Still, give it a shot. All right. But with okay, where were we here? Let's say you have more time. This can be done in 10 days. Maybe now you have maybe 2 more weeks before the exam, or you have a month before the exam. If you have additional time, here's some more things you can do to make sure you're 110% ready for the exam. The more practice, the better, right? So one thing you can do is learn more vocabulary. I just gave you a guideline of learning 200. You should be learning 800. That is those are the words provided in the course. So make sure to learn as many as possible. Now you can also purchase more mock tests from us. This is an upgrade package for CELPIP. It comes with additional features as well, so you can check it out. On this YouTube video, you wouldn't be able to check it out, but you can go to our website. This is the link. You'll see it under classes. And if you're getting this via email, you will have this in the email text, or you can just type this out. All right. Make sure you have sharpened your reading and listening skills from the tips in the final lesson. The course, the last 15th hour in the course, I have given you guidelines on how you can improve reading and listening without purchasing additional material. So you can also do that. It's not quite as effective as the CELPIP material, but it is something that will give you infinite practice pretty much. Make sure you have availed the bonus accent training course that is in the course free of cost, and that will improve your speaking ability and make you more clear. Talk to us regarding any questions you have, as well as live tutoring sessions. A lot of the students, after purchasing this course, contact us just to book a few hours to make sure they're ready for the exam. And if you want to do that, you can contact us and you'll get our details as well. Make sure you avail the English language course, the mastery course here at HZad Education. You can, again, go on this link. It should be in your email if you're getting this as an email, or you can just type this out. It is the most advanced English course online. Nothing like it. A lot of detail, 35 hours plus course that will fix all grammar issues, all mistakes you're making, and just really put you in the advanced level for English. After taking these courses, you wouldn't really have any stone left unturned before going to your exam. And simply practice and repeat. That's it. Just make sure you practice all the above, repeat it, do it again and again. The more practice, the better. Once you finish the CELPIP checklist, you will be on the verge of getting a great mark, because really, think about this. If you're doing all these things correctly and you're evaluating yourself, you're constantly getting better and checking your progress, why wouldn't you get a better mark? It is a foolproof method. So please utilize this. And once again, if you haven't checked out our course, it is in the description. You need to get this course and use this checklist to really ensure your success. If you have any questions, feel free to comment, respond to the email if you got this via email, and I'll talk soon. Thank you, guys.